Minesh-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillah-ar-Rahman-ar-Rahim. His Excellency Mr. Andrey Fedorov, Consul General of Russian Federation, Mr. Justice Bia Parvez, former Judge of Supreme Court of Pakistan, Honorable Hassan Habib Sahab, former Ambassador, Mr. Agha Masood Hussain, former Information Minister, Government of Sindh, and other dignitaries, Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of Pakistan Civic Society and Rotary Club of Karachi Intra-City, extend my heartiest welcome to the Honorable Consul General of Russian Federation, distinguished representatives of diplomatic missions, worthy speakers, and valuable guests in this august event. As you all know, that the function is arranged to celebrate 75 years of Pakistan and Russian diplomatic relations. During the 75 years, our relations have never been hostile except during the Cold War. However, in the relevant years, we see cordial relationship between the two countries and hope that this will not only continue but grow manifold in future. Our society is keen to promote people-to-people contact between the two countries, and at the same time we wish to promote our cultural ties and exchange of business community, youth and the people from other walks of life. I hope that the function will provide excellent opportunity to build our friendly relations for the betterment of Pakistan and Russian societies. At this time, I may be permitted to express my views in our national language as a matter of national pride. हमारी रिवायत के मुताबिक तकरीबात में मेज़बान अंग्रेज़ी ज़बान के अलावा कौमी ज़बान में भी इज़हार ख्याल करते हैं। आज हम पाकिस्तान और रूस के बाहिमी ताल्लुकात की 75वीं सालगिरह मना रहे हैं। हम ये चाहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान और रूस के रवाबित को फ़रोग़ मिले और ये ताल्लुकात सरकारी और अवामी सतहों पर ख़ुसूसन सलामती, मईशत, तालीम, सकाफ़त और इंसानी हमदर्दी की बुनियादों पर मज़ीद मुस्तहकम हों। ये हमारी खुशकिस्मती है कि आज हमारे दरमियान रूस के कौंसल जनरल और उनके रुफ़क़ाए कार और दीगर हज़रात, फ़ाज़िल मुक़र्ररीन और दीगर अकाबरीन भी यहाँ मौजूद हैं। हमें यकीन है कि इस मौके पर मेहमान नवाजी के आदाब को मलहूज़ खातिर रखते हुए तमाम उमूर पर सैर हासिल गुफ्तगू होगी। मैं एक मरतबा फिर आप तमाम को समीम क़ल्ब से खुशामदीद कहता हूँ और मशकूर व ममनून हूँ कि आप सब अपनी मसरूफ़ियात के अलरग़म यहाँ तशरीफ़ लाए और पाकिस्तान और रूस की दोस्ती की इस तक़रीब में शिरकत फरमाई। शुक्रिया।
About the global politics, and Russia was a imperial state for 200 years. I think 1770 to 1970, 200 years was imperial state, and then after that became federation. And the national anthem we play today is also adopted later. It was after the USSR was dissolved and became Russia Federation. That was the new national anthem. And we remember the Tsar period also, and we remember the very, very, very notorious character of the whole world, Rasputin. You should know Rasputin's story. But one thing I would like to say, really speaking, a person whose real personality we were really impressed by is Vladimir Putin. The real. I request you to study about his life, and really what a man he has what a contribution and what a great statement. So I would now request our honorable chief guest, the Excellency Andrey Fedorov.
Not to use this imperialistic language, but I don't think if I speak Russian, everybody understands me here. But so I should apologize for using the language of these so-called world governments yes, when I'm addressing you. I don't get the idea about Rasputin because I don't think everybody here know the real history of this guy and who was he. And what role he played in the imperial courts during his time. I think so. People know about only myths about this persona and not knowing the real history of his life and what he did and how he died. And he was killed by British intelligence, if you want to know, because he was the person who tried to stop the war with Germany, and he was totally against, and he tried to influence Tsar not to start war with Germany in the interest of British Empire at that time. So that was briefly why he was killed by British intelligence. The coup was organized by them. So, you know what I understand, even people who like Russia and love my country, they know less, and they use only American or British sources when they try to know something about Russia. I don't know why you cannot open the internet and to find some resources, Russian resources in English, and to know something about what we are doing and why we are doing. That was surprising for me, because we have so much information, even on the website of my consulate. We are publishing all these pictures of my president, of my minister, my defense minister, and other dignitaries who explain in a very, very positive manner why we are doing what we are doing. So to understand the reason of conflicts, I prepared a speech about the 75th anniversary of our relations, but I'm feeling that community and people want to listen some other things on what is going on now. So forgive me for that, and I will try to answer your questions now. Okay, and afterwards I will share with some of my ideas. You see, the problem of the modern international relations is that a group of the countries, a group of the people decided after the collapse of Soviet Union that they are the lords of the universe. They decided that they can dictate all other countries how to live. This is their problem. We had a short discussions about these rules they offer us to live on, but if somebody tell me who saw these rules once and who I've never seen, being about 20 years a diplomat, any international document which allowed these countries to create rules. We are living on the war, which was formulated war, when the winners of the war decided how the world would live after the war. And all blocs and Eastern Bloc and Western Bloc were organized by the common decision of the three men in the world. So to say that Russia invaded Warsaw, a correct formula, because Churchill, Roosevelt, and then Truman, and of course Comrade Stalin, they decided how the world will be divided. It was the decision of Stalin, Churchill, and Roosevelt in Tehran, then in Yalta, and then in Potsdam. And they said, they bargained on that. They said that Poland will go to Soviet Union and Austria will go to the Western Bloc. This part of Germany would go there, and this part of Germany would go there. It was not the decision of Soviet Union. They tried to forget about it, and they said that Soviet Union occupied, blah, blah. Whom we occupied? Hungary, who was fighting against us. Romania, who take part in the war against us. Slovakia, who took part, which troops were on the territory of Soviet Union. It was occupation or punishment for these countries for what they were doing on the territory of Soviet Union. If I give you the facts documented in the Nuremberg Tribunal, your hair will go up immediately. You will be horrified of the brutal, unhuman crimes committed by Germans and their satellites. You know that blockade of Leningrad was not organized only by Germany, but Finnish troops took part in it, Spanish troops were there, and Italians. We remember everything, and every country's crime committed on the territory of the Soviet Union. You know, 27 million people who were killed by these Western intelligence, intellectual people. This is something. I strongly recommend you to read about the Nuremberg Tribunal and the documents of this tribunal. For what the leaders of Nazi Germany were hanged there. And no one can doubt in this statement of the courts in Nuremberg. No one is allowed. It was the basement. And now, why I'm speaking about that? When we saw Nazis' regalias and insignia on the military uniform of the Ukraine army, of the Baltic countries' armies, on other countries' flags, banners, and we understand that Nazism was not killed that time. It was not terminated. It raised its head once again. And what they're doing? You're truly right. They raise on the banners Russophobia. Just read what they're writing, what they're publishing, and what they're saying about Russians. If they say this about Jews or Arab or African people in this country, they will be immediately sent to the prison. But it is allowed to say these things against Russians, about Russians. This is the reason of this conflict. And this conflict didn't start in a year and a half ago. You know, now United States, with hypocritic smile, they say it is illegal coup in Niger. We should send troops to restore the government. Sorry, but what they said about Ukraine in 2013 and 2014, it is a revolution. People has right to raise their voice and to kick out the corrupted president from its country. Sorry, I cannot just understand this hypocritic thing. When you are allowed to have revolution against corrupted government, or when you are not allowed to do this. And the reason is only when it is pro-American, it is allowed. When it is anti-American, it is not allowed. And I've heard from some colleagues that America should decide what to do with conflict. I'm sorry, we are to decide, Russia, what to do with this conflict. Sorry, what is America for us? Nothing. With all its mightiness, you think that they have a mighty troops? Army. With all its mightiness, with all its efforts, with 50 countries which are in the alliance, they cannot do anything with us. They cannot break our economy. Sure. Many times they said that they just dismantled our economy. Please kindly look into Forbes or Financial Times. Now Russia is the economy is on the 5th place in the world after all 13,000 sanctions. I'm sorry, our ruble is stable. No deficit in goods, in foodstuff. We are not freezing in our apartments. We are not in Europe where we are living. We have hot water, warm houses during winter, and we are having normal life in the country. So, and sending all their mercenaries, their counselors, their military specialists, all their military equipment, ammunition, they cannot do anything. And every time when we offer them to talk, and they declined this idea, we said, okay, next time it will be a worse position for you. It started from Crimea, now we have 4+ territories, so 5+ territories we have. They said, oh, we should think about stopping the war. Okay, we offered you this years ago, 8 years ago we offered you. You said, no, we will fight and break the spinal of Russia on the battlefield. I'm sorry. Now they're afraid of nuclear strike. We're not going to make any nuclear strike on the territory because it is our territory. Why should we bomb our territory with nukes? Why should we use this weapon? We're not Americans. They use it against the civilians in Japan. But Japanese Prime Minister forgot who bombed Japan in his speech. You know, it is not good to remember that Americans killed so many Japanese people during this conflict without any reason. You know, Soviet army won the battle with 1 army in 1 month. 1 million soldiers, Japanese soldiers were defeated in 1 month. And that was the real end of the war with Japan. But of course, how can we criticize this great country in the world, America, who know how to leave everybody and giving lessons to everybody? This country started all these wars in the world history after the Second World War. Just calculate how many conflicts they started. Why? Because they're earning money on the conflict. Why they did it? They utilized the old ammunition free of charge. They make Ukrainians pay for this ammunition and their military production complex earning money on that. They're receiving money because of this work. And they don't care about other peoples who are dying in this conflict. 3 times Zelensky was ready to have negotiations. 3 times in 1 year and a half. Who stopped them? Boris Johnson and the United States. They didn't allow them to have negotiations with us. It was Minsk, it was Istanbul, and it was one place that you will know later where they were ready to have negotiations with us. They said, no, we'll win this war with Russia. Did they? Why they're talking about stopping war now? Because we're winning the conflict. Yeah. And very soon you will see the results of that. Why they want to stop this fire? Only one reason. To prepare for a new wave, for a new war. Because they don't have enough armies, ammunition, techniques. They do not have prepared soldiers, pilots. They need time to prepare it. To strike once again Russia. So this is the question: should we now, or we will win this conflict in the nearest future? Winter is coming. This winter they should overlive in Europe. I mean, in Europe and in Ukraine. If you think who will restore the territories which are under our control and which are the part of Russia now. They're being under restoration. Just watch TV, watch internet, the Russian TV. You will see how many houses were already erected there. How many schools, how many hospitals were erected in these territories. But of course, BBC wouldn't demonstrate this on TV. And the second thing, how many fakes they produce every day about my country. How many stories they are telling you about Russian crimes on these territories. When we try to insist on investigation, that immediately forget about this. Immediately forget. And the same stories in Syria, when they made these fakes about chemical attacks, and then afterwards these children whom they demonstrated dead, they were in UN. We brought these children in UN and demonstrated this documentary. These children, this child is died, and he is on the Tribune and speaking to people. Who paid attention on this? World press? World community? No. That's okay. If Americans do this, that's okay. No problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that very soon we will see the collapse of America. They don't know what to do with their political system. Their economic situation is much worse than even your country has, because you do not have debt, national debt on $30 trillion, and they do not have production to cover this. The only thing they can do is to use military force to make you purchase these banknotes. This is why they're still alive. As soon as they do not have enough force to make you purchase this banknote, this paper, they will collapse immediately. They made gravest mistakes in their past. Why? They deployed the production in other countries, so they lost the production on many spheres. Detroit is a city of gangsters now. It is not the current capital of the United States. It is totally destroyed city. There are a lot of documentaries about the situation in Detroit now. And 30 years ago, it was the marvelous, charming, very fast-growing capital of vehicle production. So they made us have a strong union with China. So they violated all the ideas of their politologists not to allow this to do anyone. They made us to have close friend relation. And now they're demonstrating that they cannot do anything with our economy. As they said, very useless economy. I'm sorry. And this rusty army, our army, slowly, by step, taking the territory, burning all this Wunderwaffe, this magic weapon of Western countries. It is firing, it is burning every day. Their tanks, their missiles on the territory. We want to stop the war, of course, yes. We want to stop it. But we will never tolerate the security of our country. We will never tolerate NATO near our frontier lines. We will never tolerate deployment of any nuclear weapons in the countries near to us. And it was the condition. If they follow this, we're ready not to start this operation. They didn't want even to discuss this. Now, this is the result. And remember what Mr. Putin said. If you try to use force to fix the issue of Donbass, you will lose your country. It was said about 5 years ago. Did they listen to him? Where were these people who are voting for peaceful talks when they were killing Russians in Donbass for 8 years? No one. No one paid attention on that. 8 years we tried to explain them and Western countries that you shouldn't kill people in Donbass. They should have their rights there. They should have right to speak Russian language there. They should have right to live like they want, because Ukraine is a small empire. Many peoples are living here, not only Russian and Ukrainians. There are Hungarians, Tatars, Slovakians, Romanians, Polish people, Jewish people, Greeks. They all want to speak their own languages. And it was no problem 15 years ago on that. So they created this problem. So now we should understand what to do with this situation. And first thing is, Western countries should stop supporting this fight, this war. They should allow Ukraine to have negotiations with us. And forget that they can do something with us using military force. No one, no country won the war with Russia. Even if we lost some battles, we always won the war. No one won the war in the history, won the war with Russia. If you give me the name of the country, just give it. not about a battle, which we can lose, but a war. Just give me simple. Who won the war? No one. Because we are fighting for the right to live how we want on our lands. We are fighting to have mother and father, not parent one and parent two. I'm fighting here, yeah, we are all fighting for the right not to see this LGBT blah 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 on our streets. We are not looking to the bedroom of the person. But I don't want to see these flags, and I don't want to see these people marching, parading on the streets. I don't want to see gentlemen wearing miniskirts, demonstrating that they're ladies. Because I want to live in a normal country. And I think Pakistanis want the same thing. They want to have normal families, normal relations between that, and it also I see the colleague in Iran, and they also want to live according to their tradition in the country. We want to pray God like we want to pray God. And if lady cannot be a priest in Orthodox, I don't want to have modernized church and lady to be a priest. Sorry, with all respect to ladies, but I'm going to the church which has history of many thousand years, and I don't want to change anything in this church. You see, this is the very simple wishes of our people. And if somebody wanna ask to be changed, we do not agree with that. And all nations are equal in the world. No exceptionalism. We are fighting with exceptionalism. No exceptionalism. Exceptionalism is not allowed. Because I don't understand the idea that the British guy or American guy is number one, he's exceptional, and Russian guy is the second, or Pakistani or Indian or Chinese, they're number 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are not gentlemen, like Monsieur Barrel said. We are the world, we are the people, and we have right to manage to run our countries like we want. We want to have government we want to have. And if we do not want to have this government, we can kick them out, but it is our decision, not coming from abroad. So these are the simple ideas I wanted to share. Thank you very much. If you have questions I would like to answer, but I think I should give to any other.